Oh yeah, did you hear a new CTR? Are you shitting me? You're lying. Unless you're talking about like the new card game, which reminds of CTR, but it's not like a new CTR. Is that what you're talking about? Wait, no, wait, whoa, 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 hold on. Can I save the pictures? Hold on, let me pull up the pictures. So Beanox apparently made this post about like 25 years anniversary. You got some Call of Duty there. You got some Spider-Man. You got some Guitar Hero as well. Look at that. Some other shit, and then you have Crash Team Racing there. Look at that. That is literally like, that's Toys for Bob. That's like Toys for Bob drawing. There's like another image that's like a lot more detailed. I don't know, chat. I don't know if that's like, if we consider like what we're looking at, the card definitely reminds me of one that you can actually get like in Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. It looks like a card you can actually get. And it even says Nitro right there, like on the wheel. And the background as well, like how like the sky is looking, and you have like the tree there as well. It really reminds me of the first world in Crash Nitro card. That's what it reminds me of. I don't know. I don't know. I can see like why people would you know be like, oh my god, Crash Team Racing 2 in development? ? Yeah, I can see why people would say that, but I don't know. I'm not too sure. I obviously, don't get me wrong, I wish it was true, but the problem is with this picture, at least for me, the way I'm thinking about it. The problem is with this picture is that it looks like it's drawn by Toys for Bob. Not that that's a problem, but we do know that Toys for Bob is not working for Activision no more. And Activision still owes Crash Bandicoot. We know that we actually know that Toys for Bob was working on a Crash Bandicoot 5, and Crash Bandicoot 5 Sparrow was gonna be there as well. There's actually artwork very early on, like sketch work and whatnot from Toys for Bob, where they've shown that like a Crash Bandicoot 5 was in the making. But typically, like always, you have Activision pulling away the money. It was the same thing with Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. The game was supposed to like run for way longer, and then because it didn't earn as much, it's funny because like Activision said that they would never do like money transaction, and then like in season 2 or like season 3 they added money transaction. And for all I know, at least me and a lot of other like big content creators for Crash Team Racing back then, and even people that was like competitive players, they did not mind money transaction in Crash Team Racing, like Nitro Fuel, as long as we would get content. Like people were actually for it, but the problem was that Activision was like, they kept saying no, we're not gonna do this, and then they went back in their words. And now it's like, okay, now y'all going back in your words, so now we're not gonna support it. People were actually like willing to support that shit like in the beginning, but they said no, we're not gonna do this, so people just said bet. So it's like, you know, it's like empty promises. So because they doing these empty promises, of course people are just like not gonna give Activision money or any kind of like money transaction payment, because we can't trust them. And we were right about that. We sure as hell couldn't trust him. Because after like 12 free seasons, yeah, you know, Nitro Fuels sold 10 million copies. I mean, sure, but that's still like baby numbers compared to like Call of Duty and whatnot. And the problem is with these like investors, you get a lot of people don't realize when it comes to like these big games, these AAA games, there's a lot of investors involved as well. It's not just Activision. You also gotta think about the investors. A video game at the end of the day is there for people to invest their money into it, invest into stockings, and then get a return. A lot of investors do that. A lot of publishers do that. A lot of devs do that. Right? You gotta pay the devs. You gotta make sure that the investors who are putting in money as well for the game to be developed and all that shit, they need to sell a certain amount of copies, and the money that they get back from the sales is hopefully gonna be more than the investors gave for the entire development and whatnot. That's really what it is at the end of the day. If investors are not making money after they use their own money for the investments, if they're not having a good enough return, devs and companies almost have no choice. That is the situation that Tekken 8 is also in. A lot of people are hating on Harada and Murray because they are the face of the development team, and it's easy for people to like just punch at them, you know, on Twitter and whatnot. But I guarantee you, I bet my fucking money that Harada and Murray, they're just rolling with the punches. Because at the end of the day, as much as people would like to complain about Tekken 8, people still play the goddamn game. People still pay for the seasons. People still throwing money in Harada and Murray's face, and that is great for them. It's great for business. It's great for the investors. The investors that put in money for the Tekken development, they are expecting a return as well. A higher return of what they put in. That is every company in a nutshell. And literally, we as a player base is helping that happen. Because we're not speaking with our wallets. We're speaking with our mouth instead of speaking with our wallets. But the thing is, because I mean, I'm sure that Activision is still willing to work for Beanox or work with Beanox in terms of making a new Crash Team Racing. But again, the problem is what I'm looking at is the Toys for Bob artwork. So that would mean that Toys for Bob would be working with Beanox, which means that they would be working for Activision. And that makes no sense because Toys for Bob literally said that they're gonna go indie. They're gonna become an indie company because they're fed up with how Activision is doing shit. And of course, you know, you had Toys for Bob being like, you know, oh, we appreciate all the work that we did with Activision. They're a great company, and we really enjoyed the part, you know, corporate shit. They gotta keep it corporate. But anyways, you know, there's a lot of telephone calls going on. My point is, I want this shit to be a thing. I hope this thing is like real. I hope this thing is legit. But I guess we just have to wait it out. Activision is just tripping. I mean, there's nothing new there. Activision is always tripping. Yo, what up, Max? Yeah, Activision is always tripping. I mean, that's nothing new. We know Activision's always been tripping. But I don't know. I've never been a guy that like gets my hopes up. I never really do that because I always set myself up for like, if I set myself up for expectations, I'm just gonna be a lot more disappointed. I've never really set myself up for like big expectations. I've always like just, you know, I just go with the flow, you know. So whatever happens, happens. Would I want this to be a thing? Abso-fucking-lutely. Are you kidding me? Yes. But looking at the artwork, I'm like, I don't know. Is it really? Could it be like, it could just be like an artwork that maybe Toys for Bob made back in like, you know, Crash Team Racing, Nitro Fuel. Even though, you know, I know Toys for Bob wasn't really like involved with Crash Team Racing, Nitro Fuel, but you get what I mean. I don't know. It could also, you know what? Fuck it. It could also be a completely different scenario. Maybe Activision just said, Toys for Bob, we know you've been, we know we've been treating you like shit. We give you these projects, we give you this budget, and then we take it away the same day. Literally, almost, at this point. Maybe Activision has offered Toys for Bob an insane offer that would be absolutely ridiculous to say no to. And then, you know, now Toys for Bob is secretly working with Activision again. And something massive will get announced. That could also be the case, you know? But at the end of the day, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't want to, like, you know, I want this to happen, but I also don't want to put my expectations too high. But that's dope. That's kind of cool. That I've seen people like actually upload about this like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 5 hours ago. That's crazy. I'm mostly going to wait until I see the trailer because a random picture isn't enough to tell me it's real. Well, here's the thing though, Blazing Powers. This is not a random picture though. This is not a random picture. This is the official picture that Beanox posted for the 25-year anniversary. So it's not just a random picture. That's the thing though. I would agree with you if it was a random picture, but it's not. It's literally not a random picture. Look. That's what they posted. And apparently this post got removed on Facebook. This post got removed. So you have Call of Duty there. You got like Spider-Man there, I guess. And then you have Crash Bandicoot up there. Crash Team Racing. But again, like I said, the card definitely do remind me of one of the cards that is in Nitro Fuel. And even like the deck for the card also reminds me of something that is in Nitro Fuel. So I don't know. Like I'm in the same boat. At the end of the day, I'm in the same boat. Would this be dope? Absolutely. But I'm just gonna wait it out. I'm just gonna wait it out and see if it happens. But to say that this is a random picture is not. This is definitely not a random picture. This would not be the first time, by the way. This would not be the first time that Activision or Beanox or Toys for Bob have teased a Crash Team Racing. Keep in mind, y'all remember the PlayStation trailer? Where they showed I forgot what it was. It was like a PlayStation trailer where they showed like games and all that shit. And they showed like, you know, the characters from like various of like PlayStation games come to life. And then eventually there was like this parking lot where you had like Crash, I think Coco as well, like driving in their cart. So there was like, you know, the video game characters like becoming like real life IRL type of shit. And you saw that there was this weird unique mask that was like flying behind Crash. Even though like Crash Team Racing was out. But there was this unique mask that was following Crash while he was like driving around in his cart. In that like PlayStation trailer. Where they were like going like, oh, PlayStation makes game reality, whatever type of trailer. Kratos was there as well. Like Kratos was like walking like among like random people in the street and shit. And people were talking about that mask. They were like, what the fuck is that mask? That's like a unique mask. What was going on? And then, you guys remember that commercial? Yeah, exactly. And then eventually, maybe like a month, 2 months, 3 months after, Crash Bandicoot 4 revealed. Crash Bandicoot 4 revealed, made fully developed by Toys for Bob. And that's when we saw one of those masks. That's when we saw the mask, like actually how it looked. And they also showed like the other masks as well. Which were the, I forgot what what were those 4 masks? Was it 4? Yeah, it was 4 masks. What were they called? I forgot what they were called in Crash Bandicoot 4. Was it 4 or was it 3? I think it was 4 masks. Hold on, let me think about this. You had the one that that made you like invisible, like kind of ghost shit. You had the one, the purple one that was like doing the whole spinning shit. Then you had the one that flipped upside down. And then you had the one that we saw in the teaser. In that, yeah, it was 4. It was 4. And then we had the female one, the female mask. I forgot their names. But we saw the female mask in that commercial teaser. And then eventually we saw like how she was like fully fleshed out, and then to show like the other mask as well and all that. That was like that was a good day, chat. That was a good ass day. So I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be the same situation for this one. It could be. When is Game Awards? Oh, do we actually have a Game Awards like this year? Oh yeah, December 11th. December 11th is Game Awards 2025. So I guess we just have to, I mean, chat, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna be watching Game Awards regardless. I always been watching Game Awards. It's nothing new. I always be watching Game Awards. So if it happens, it happens. You know? We might even get it before. Who knows? I know, like, it showed Beanox 2000, like, 25 years anniversary. So, maybe Beanox is gonna have their own little show. I don't know. We just have to wait and see. Like I said. Again, I don't like to, like, I don't celebrate until the fat lady sings. You know? I've always, when it comes to anything, and I've done that for years on my YouTube channel, when people tell me, yo, Chris, did you see that? Oh my god, this might happen. I've always been like, I'm just gonna wait till the fat lady sings. I just want some closure. It's funny enough, I'm saying that, but guess what? 4 years ago, I predicted Ninja Gaiden 4. I forgot what it was. It was something, what was it? It was Momichi's trailer in Dead or Alive 6. When they showed Momichi was a playable character in Dead or Alive 6, and they showed like some kind of like extra shit, like ninja costumes as well and stuff. I was like, oh, you know, that would be kind of cool if that was like a little hint that we might get something Ninja Gaiden related sooner or later. That would be kind of cool. What happened then? 2 or 3 years later, we got Ninja Gaiden Master Collection. And I was like, okay, hold on now. I said this like last year or 2 years ago in Dead or Alive 6. Now we're getting Ninja Gaiden Master Collection. Wait a minute now. You know, we've seen this before. We've seen it happen before. We saw it with Crash Bandicoot, funny enough. When they did Crash Bandicoot Reignited, not the Reignited Trilogy, that's Sparrow. Insane Trilogy, I meant. They did it with Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. When they did the remake of the trilogy, already right there I was like, if this will do extremely good, there's most likely a chance that we're gonna get Crash Bandicoot 4. What did we get? Crash Bandicoot 4. Ninja Gaiden Master Collection. I don't know if Ninja Gaiden Master Collection sold well. I don't know. But already there, I didn't care if the game sold well or not. I was like kind of locked in right there and be like, chat, I think this kind of solidifies that we're gonna get a Ninja Gaiden 4. I don't know when, but I'm pretty damn sure it's gonna happen at this point. Cause it was too much of a coincidence. You had it in D-Wave 6, then you get Master Collection out of fucking nowhere. And it's like, okay, wait a fucking minute now. I think that's kind of solidifies it. Maybe like, I was like 50%, now I'm like 75%, 80%. What happened? Ninja Gaiden 4. So I don't know. I don't know. It might happen. It might not happen. Maybe they just wanted, you know, I don't know. They could have been asking Torch for Bob to be like, hey, can you make an artwork about like Crash Team Racing? That would be kind of cool. And then Torch for Bob is like, oh yeah, sure. Can we get permission from Activision to do that? And since it's maybe just an artwork just to like show eventually like, oh, look at us, we did like Crash Team Racing, Nitro Fuel and all that, you know? And maybe Activision just said, yeah, sure, go ahead. You know? We don't know. That's the thing, we don't know. Fuck. We just have to wait. Sir, isn't it like 2:30 a.m. over there? Rizzy, listen. Fuck you. How about that? Yes, it is. Okay, I'm on my way to bed.